Fellas, AC here. Welcome to part 2. Now, let me apologize first of all because as I had promised, I had actually recorded the second part last Sunday. I was supposed to be airing it on Easter Sunday, but halfway through the recording, the battery on the microphone just went. And when I downloaded the video from my camera, I realized the audio quality was absolutely not up to the mark, so I didn't release it. And then obviously work came in the way. So, sorry. And I'm sorry I made you wait, and I'm sorry I couldn't respond to the comments. Just amazing comments in the last video. Really appreciate all those kind words. They're just amazing. It keeps me going. Love those comments. So I'll find some time to respond to them. But here is the second part. And the objective is to basically give you 25 fragrances. This time I've got 15, so this is a bigger list. And to give you 25 fragrances, part 1 and part 2, from the houses that I'm going to discuss, and probably if you even get 5 of them, you'll probably end up with very, very good 5 fragrances. Just to help you out. So, let's start. The first fragrance in the list is from a house which produces some very high quality niche fragrances. It's a French house, and the right way to pronounce the house is Jovoy, I understand. And the fragrance's name is L'Enfant Terrible. It's just amazing, guys. It's compared to Serge Lutens' Féminin du Bois, which I get a little bit of similarities to, but this is much, much superior, much high quality fragrance. This is just outstanding for lovers of sandalwood and fruity notes. So there are 2 fruits here. Orange, dates. 2 woods, cedar, sandalwood. The ones that dominate the notes breakdown is sandalwood and dates. What an amazing combination. And this fragrance, I've done a full review, is basically a luxury in bottle. It's got this note of cumin, so if your skin really amps up the cumin note, then you might want to stay away from it. But this fragrance is one of those fragrances that is luxury in a bottle. It's extremely well made, it's opulent, it's just beautiful. And sandalwood, sandalwood creates this very professional, very profound impact on people, and the note is so beautifully executed here that this is one of those fragrances that you can basically wear to any occasion, work, evening occasions, weather, in between weather. So spring and autumn are the best weathers for this fragrance. Outstanding. I've done a full review, you can check it out, and it's just one of the most amazing woody fruity fragrances money can buy. Next is another house which I have a lot of respect for. It creates niche only. It comes up with amazing concepts, and I own 3 or 4 from this house, 3 and 1 decant. And this is the house of Diptyque, and the fragrance I'm going to talk to you about is Volutes. Volutes is a phenomenal tobacco fragrance, and it basically is so creative, and that's the forte of Diptyque. I haven't reviewed this yet. That's the forte of Diptyque. Diptyque comes up with fragrances that are not only amazing in quality, but also very, very creative. So what they've done here is combine the note of tobacco with the note of dry fruits, and honey as well. And honey and tobacco is a very common sort of a concept. But what they've done is they've created an outstanding combination with iris. Iris makes the fragrance radiant and alive. This is such a beautiful fragrance. It's an EDT concentration. It comes in EDP as well. That's another good thing about Diptyque. All their fragrances come in either EDT as well as EDP. So whatever you fancy, I like the EDT in this one because it's so live and vibrant and airy, and at the same time it's very, very high quality and rich. So if you like rich fragrances that are vibrant and airy, and if you really like the note of tobacco, try this one. The kind of tobacco used here is like the Turkish tobacco Absolute, so it's not very smoky, but it's a very fine tobacco, and it really complements the fruit note, the dry fruit note, and the iris. Outstanding. Volutes is outstanding. Next one is also a tobacco fragrance, but I've reviewed this one. It's a 10 out of 10 fragrance. It's also from a house that only creates niche fragrances, and that too of very high quality, very high standard. The house is called Serge Lutens. I own 6 from this house, and I'm picking Chergui. Chergui for me is the best tobacco fragrance, one of the best. And this again plays on the honey tobacco theme, if you like. The tobacco note he used here is very similar to the tobacco note used in Volutes, i.e. tobacco absolute, Turkish tobacco absolute, but this is powdery. So if you don't like powdery scents, do sample it. I think this is very, very good because it uses a note of dry hay. Outstanding dry hay, and also a very, very good sandalwood. So you get a lot of good things here, and I've done a full review. This is again one of those fragrances that is an acquired taste, but it leaves a very interesting trail. And I've gotten compliments on this many times, especially from very stylish women who understand expensive fragrances. Those are the ones who really like Chergui, at least in my case. So those are two tobacco scents, extremely high quality. If you really like tobacco scents, go for these two. So next on my list is another iris fragrance. Now I talked about iris in Volutes. Volutes has iris as a supporting role. Here iris is front and center. And it's from a house which creates only creative fragrances. In fact, the house is called Artisan Parfumeur, artistic perfumery. They also produce niche only fragrances. I own 4 from this house and I picked this one. Skin on Skin. I'm telling you guys, if you're into romantic fragrances, if you like date night fragrances, if you really want to stun your girlfriend. This is discontinued, by the way. Skin on Skin is a drop dead gorgeous fragrance. So if you're one of those guys who looks really good, can speak very well, really has some great, very charming kind of a personality, Skin on Skin is a deadly scent for you. It will really up your game. This is basically based on 2 notes. Iris, so that gives it this waxy lipsticky vibe, and suede. Both those notes are the highest quality, along with whiskey. I don't get too much of whiskey, but this has definitely got this boozy quality, and it's also slightly sweet. I haven't reviewed this one yet, but I'm telling you, if you're looking for a killer date night fragrance, real head turner, Skin on Skin is right up there. Really, really nice. So 4 done, 5th one coming up. Now this next fragrance is again an iris fragrance, and I consider this to be one of the most brilliant modern masculine fragrances. It's from a house that I have reviewed a lot of fragrances from. It's the house of Prada, and I own 4 from this house, and all those 4 fragrances are at least 8 out of 10. This one is Prada L'Homme Intense, the color code. Now I've got 2 of these. I'm telling you, all the L'Hommes are worth owning. The moment I smell this, I love it. Absolutely amazing, guys. And the performance, it's so strong. Once I was going to meet my dentist. Now this is a story I want to tell you because the impact it had on her. So I wrongly put 4 sprays on my t-shirt and I just went. The dentist is about 20 minutes walk from my house. Now I went to the dentist, and the moment she saw me, she knows me and we are very friendly, and she says, I can smell you from the door. What are you wearing, by the way? And I said, I'm really sorry because that would really disrupt you. She said, no, not at all, because it smells amazing and really suits your personality. It's so stylish. And I said, okay. But I realized that day that this is an ultra strong fragrance, but it's also, as I said, it's a very stylish, one of the best modern masculines money can buy. Really top-notch fragrance. And I've done a full review. You can check it out. But watch the sprays, guys. This is so strong that sometimes, you just might leave a wrong impression, especially if you wear this to work. I've worn this to work, but I keep it to 2. And I don't spray it on my shirt because it lasts and lasts and lasts. So sometimes, it can give you a little bit of boredom. So I put it on my skin, sometimes here, but it really is a fabulous fragrance. Can't recommend it highly enough. Next is from a house that makes cheap fragrances. It's a Middle Eastern house, and had it not been for this fragrance, a lot of people would have been deprived of the sensation of actually smelling Aventus, the smoky batches of Aventus. I think most of you have guessed what this fragrance is. It is Club de Nuit Intense for Man by Armaf. What a fine fragrance this is, but I've heard that the current formulations are a bit weak, so I can't really comment about them because I have not smelled them. This is a 2015 bottle, and I tell you what, I'm very, very well aware of the 2010, 2011 batches, the smoky batches of Aventus. I'm telling you, once this dries down, this is very, very close to that actual scent profile. Not the quality, but the scent profile. And had it not been for this fragrance, as I said, a lot of people would have been deprived of actually smelling what Aventus smelled like. Superb. And you know, a lot of people have said this, and I will basically concur to that. This fragrance single-handedly is responsible for most or majority of my compliments, unsolicited and solicited. One of the most complimented fragrances. Some of my friends just go complete bananas when they smell this. They're just, what are you wearing? Please tell me, I want to buy that one. That kind of reaction. It's just superb. I still haven't reviewed this one, unfortunately. I have to review this one because this is an outstanding affordable fragrance, I tell you. Well, next on my list is from a house which, after Guerlain, is my favorite house. One of my favorite houses. And I own about 25, 30 fragrances from this house. It's one of my most favorite houses. It's Rasasi. And this fragrance is my favorite Rasasi. Why? Because of its high wearability. It's Al Wissam Day. This is basically a clone or a copy or an attempt to do an alternative to Creed's Silver Mountain Water. Now, Silver Mountain Water is based around the esoteric concept of creating a stream in the Alps. Yeah, it's basically trying to give you a fragrance which shimmers and glitters. This is exactly that. It's creamy, it's radiant, and it's just beautifully uplifting. And I really like uplifting fragrances. And Al Wissam Evening, I've reviewed this one, check it out. If you're a professional who meets people, who wants to close deals, who's into public relations kind of stuff, this is a fragrance which will really suit you because it has this amazing effect on people. When people smell this on you, they automatically become very happy, very jovial. And this fragrance is exactly that. It's a very jovial, professional, happy, uplifting, superb fragrance, really. It's really, really good, you know, and doesn't cost a lot of money. Highly recommend it. Really a fantastic fragrance for any weather. It will work in any weather, but summer and spring, perfect for Al Wissam Day. Next is a fragrance from a house that I don't have much from. I only own 2 full bottles and I have a few partials. But this is a fragrance which is outstanding from this house. I don't respect this house much, but this fragrance is something special. The house is Parfums de Marley, and this fragrance is Layton. Now this fragrance is special. This is a fragrance which I'll spend good money on. Why? Because this is a killer fragrance, I tell you. How do you make a fragrance which has heavy notes like vanilla, sweet heavy notes like vanilla, apple, cardamom? How do you make that fragrance fizzy and vibrant? That's what this fragrance is. It has the smell of Hugo Boss bottled, but to the nth level of strength, and then it's fizzy. Yeah, and the dry down is spectacularly sexy, very sexy, just amazing. Very good performance, extremely well made, very familiar, yet I spent the money, and you guys know me. If I can smell an expensive fragrance and a cheap fragrance, I never buy it. But I tell you what, I still went ahead and got a full bottle of Layton, and I've not been disappointed. This is one of the best, head turner fragrances, if you like. Layton is really, really well made, extremely well made. So how many have I done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, 8. 8, so 7 to come. Now let's talk about another head turner. Now this house is basically one of those houses. It produces very high quality, high performance fragrances. It's the house of Mancera. I really like this house. I've got 3 full bottles, many partials, and I've chosen this. I gave it a 10 out of 10 when I reviewed it. Cedrat Boise. Now Cedrat Boise is a take on Aventus on a different sort of level. It's more fruity, more creamy, and basically based around sandalwood. I can smell it from here. It's so beautifully made and has such a beautiful effect on women, especially younger ones, that if you're in the dating game, I highly recommend this. Cedrat Bois is a gorgeous fragrance, in one word. I've done a full review, so why waste words and time? All I'll say is, if you really want a gorgeous drop-dead fragrance, then you got Prada, L'Homme Intense, you got Layton, and you've got Cedrat Boise. My God, this is amazing. Really sexy. So, next fragrance is from a house that I really like. Before I had this fragrance, which I've only had for a month, there was something else which was my favorite. The house I'm talking about is Thierry Mugler. And the fragrance that was my favorite was Pure Havane. I absolutely adore Pure Havane. But this fragrance came, excuse me, and it just completely overtook Pure Havane in a month's time. It's so well made and so expensive and opulent smelling that it completely gate crashed the Thierry Mugler family. It is called Mirror Collection Mirror de Majestes. I'm going to put a link in the, a name in the description. You can check it out. I haven't reviewed it yet. Obviously, just very new to me, but stunned me. If Thierry Mugler, I think this is discontinued now. If Thierry Mugler made such fragrances on a regular basis, this house would be at the same level as a Creed or even an Amouage. This fragrance is basically an Amouage type fragrance. It's an amber fragrance with a very indolic jasmine, outstanding jasmine, and just floored me with some superb cardamom, I believe, and some patchouli as well. This is nth level of sophisticated elegance. This is a fragrance which reeks money. You know, you put it on yourself and just sit in one corner of a room, people will be drawn towards you. You will be exuding that charisma, that magnetism that only happens with people with tremendous amounts of insight and knowledge, that kind of stuff, you know, really heavy personality, really deep personality. This fragrance is just on a different level, guys. I'm going to review it. This is a cold weather fragrance though. Very, very strong, extremely rich and opulent, not advised in summer. And summer is fast approaching us. So I might have to wait till autumn to review it. But I'm telling you, if you ever see this, any Mirror collection, look for Mirror des Majestes, get it. If you like amber, if you like jasmine, you're in for a super treat. Blew me away. Absolutely blew me away. Brilliant fragrance. Next is a budget fragrance. And this whole line is just special. The fragrance I'm talking about, fragrance house I'm talking about is Lalique. Lalique makes amazing fragrances. I own 6, I think, from this house. This one is my favorite. Encre Noir à l'extrême. I've done a full review. This is a special fragrance because it just creates a magical impact on yourself. You might not get a compliment. You might get a compliment. I don't know. Depends on who smells you. But what it'll do is it'll create a superb impression on yourself because of how beautifully this is made. It's a very contemplative scent. It's centered around incense and cypress. So it's green and smoky. It's also very rich and deep because there's this amazing note of vetiver in every layer. And every time this vetiver smells different. Every season this vetiver smells different. So it's a very complicated, complex creature. But as I said, once it's your friend, you will feel that this is one of the finest fragrances in your collection. Absolutely amazing fragrance. Ideal for in between weather, autumn and spring. Ideal for work because it's got that special sort of introverted, inward looking fragrance. So if you want to focus on your work, and vetiver is amazing for that, this is a fragrance that I would wear. It just puts you in a very calm, collected state of mind. Outstanding, man. This is an outstanding fragrance. But I doubt that you'll get compliments. If you're looking for compliments, there are many more in this lineup. So focus there. If you're looking for something that really holds you towards concentrated work and makes you feel amazing about yourself, then go for this. So next is a niche house. It's a house I respect a lot, and I'll be acquiring a lot of fragrances from this house. I've got 4 from this house. It's a Turkish house. It's called Nishane. All of the 4 that I own are at least a 9 out of 10. Outstanding house. And this one, I think I gave it a 9 or maybe an 8 when I reviewed it. Now I'd say it's a 10 out of 10. It's Fan Your Flames by Nishane. Another level. This fragrance is next level tobacco. And the notes are just so perplexing, you know. It's got a note of coconut and tonka. So tonka, you know, is dime a dozen nowadays. Every Tom, Dick and Harry is making tonka based fragrances. But if you really want to see the impact of real high quality tonka combined with very high quality tobacco and then supplemented with just amazing resinous coconut-like smell. This is the fragrance that you should go for. You know, if you like your Malibus, if you like the Caribbean style of life, if you are into your, you know, packaged holidays on the cruise ships, expensive cruise ships, and the kind of smells you might have encountered there during your beautiful holidays, Fan Your Flames really is luxury, absolute luxury in a bottle. What a fragrance this is, guys. It takes a lot of time to mature on your skin, at least an hour, maybe even longer. But the beauty of the fragrance is it's dry down. You know, it's a bit weird when you first spray it. I've done a full review. It's a bit weird when you first spray. It might remind you of a few Bulgaris. And then, boom, when it really goes into its full, you know, demon mode, that's when you pull everybody towards you, because it's so strong, it projects a lot, and it just smells like a billionaire would smell, with tons of money and charisma. Outstanding, you know. One of my gems in my collection. Love Fan Your Flames. It's amazing. Okay, next on my list is a house that I don't talk a lot about. It's a house that has lost faith, as far as I'm concerned. It used to be a great house, no, and it's just gone downhill. And it's gone so badly downhill that I really don't even care about this house anymore. But I tell you what, I've got a fragrance which probably is the best fragrance created by this house. The house I'm talking about is YSL, Yves Saint Laurent, and I'm not talking about La Nuit de l'Homme. This is everybody's favorite. I like it as well. But the greatest fragrance created by this house was created in 1977. And this fragrance is a masterpiece. It's Opium Eau de Toilette. I own the EDP as well. And I probably, frankly, think I shouldn't have gone for the EDP, because this EDT is so strong. This stays on your skin for at least 48 hours. Yeah, 2-day business. Whichever hand you apply this on, one spray will kill everybody. So this is very strong. But once you've applied, this is a 2-day affair. That hand is gone. So be careful with your sprays. If you're a person who likes artistic fragrances, who likes collecting masterpieces, try Opium. And this has been named most appropriately. It's so addicting. Once I apply it, I really enjoy it. I have to be in the mood to apply it, because it's very strong, very spicy, and it's an oriental. This has got 30 notes. It's extremely complex, and the current versions are equally nice and good. But since I like collecting vintage fragrances, I went for this, and it's regarded by many as an absolute masterpiece. Just look at the cap. I still have to review this. Excuse me. So it's a very spicy fragrance. The notes that give it spiciness, most spicy, are the notes of cloves and carnation. Carnation also has this reputation for making a fragrance smell like the 70s. This is a fragrance of the 70s, definitely. But it's got so many hues, so many shades, so many colors, that once you spray this, and if you have that kind of a personality of the patience of really waiting for a fragrance to mature, then this is a killer fragrance. I'll do a full review, because this is an absolute masterpiece. And this is the kind of fragrances YSL used to produce, but look at them now. I mean, YSL Y. I would just say WHY with 3 question marks, you know. Why did they bother? But anyways, let's stick to the agenda. 2 more left. So I've done 13, 2 to come. The next fragrance, again, like Fan Your Flames, is basically a scent of success and luxury. You know, for me, it is a fragrance that reinforces the conviction that I have in myself. And it just makes me feel as if every time I wear this fragrance, I'm celebrating me as a person. And I want you to have that experience as well. It's a stunning Roja. It's a Roja Dove. And the fragrance is Oligarch. This fragrance couldn't have been named better. Oligarch. You know, this smells like a highly successful, rich person with great taste in life. You know, this is compared to Terre d'Hermès. I don't know why, because this has got no similarities to Terre d'Hermès, in my opinion. And it's a very fizzy, herbal, fruity, again, 26 notes. I've done a full review. 26 notes or something, and very complex, but it's basically a chypre. And you know, Roja has a thing about chypres. If you look at his amazing creations, they're all chypres. So I've reviewed Oligarch, which is a chypre, I believe. Yes, it's a chypre. Yes. And this is a chypre. I've also smelled some of his amazing Chypres, Chypre Extraordinaire, which is a 1,500 pound fragrance. Outstanding. He's got this knack of creating amazing Chypres. And this is just a modern, wonderful, complex, opulent, rich Chypre. Try this. This is superb. One of the best fragrances in my collection. One of the top 5s, you know. If I was to ask, if somebody asked me, take 5, I'll take one of these. This will be one of them. Last on my list is an absolute masterpiece from a house that I have a lot of respect from. The house is Amouage. I've got 12 from Amouage. One is on the way. So I've got 12 fragrances and I picked this one up. This is outstanding. It's called Sunshine Man. What a fragrance this is, guys. This is smell of success, of power. It exudes power, modern masculinity. It's just all the good things that you would associate with being successful is what this fragrance is, you know. A brilliant glass of brandy, the finest French brandy. Pour yourself a fine, really fine glass of brandy. Light up the best Cuban cigar. Sit on a mahogany table with a fine leather chair in your study. That's you visualizing yourself. If you are one of those guys who wants to be there, this is a fragrance which might not take you there, but which might reaffirm your dreams about yourself. Outstanding fragrance, you know. Sunshine Man is a classy fragrance, an absolute joy in a bottle. I love this fragrance to bits, and I had to review it. I haven't reviewed it. So that was the 15th. So I hope you like this video, fellas, and the whole idea is to give you some sort of an idea of having 25 great fragrances. There you go. Take care. Bye-bye.